Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Picadian.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We're thrilled to death that you're with us on this show. Yes, y'all. Now, just in fairness, Rob called. He's got a family matter, and we hope that things go well for him, his family in that arena.
Yes.
There's a lot of family stuff happening, and I also want to give a big shout out to our good friend and the owner of the studio, John Fennell, who's been on the show several times. Just lost his dad last week, and that's a tough, very, very, very difficult thing to deal with. And our thoughts are with you, John. We have a fantastic show for you. As per usual, we always love to have people that are making the gear, but when that crosses over with people that support the show, it's extra special. In this case, we have, who are you, sir?
Elad from Gear Ant.
All right, Elad, welcome back. This is trip number 2 around Tony's big fat head. And this should be a fun time. I can already tell by your enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah.
That you're ready to jump through the microphone here. We got a couple of announcement and discussion-y things we can get through, I think.
Okay.
Now, before we do that, Elad, where can people go see the things that you're building?
You can check me out on Instagram, gear_ant, or on my website, gearant.com.
Perfect. And Elad's calling from the beautiful town of Borough of
Brooklyn, New York.
Yes. A bunch of people just put their hand up, and that's it. Yeah, sup, Brooklyn. Anyhow, oh dear. Well, one of the things that I wanted to herald, bask in, if you will. We brought this up on the show. We were talking about our influential guitarists, or I think it was like guitarists that, if we could play like anybody, who would it be, kind of thing.
Yeah, I would play like you, Todd.
I appreciate that, and I understand that. But I talked a bit about Dave Navarro at that point, and it was a little bit of a surprise to everybody, but then we're like, oh, wait, yeah. And I'm just so thrilled as a longtime fan of Jane's Addiction that Dave is back in the saddle. They're on their UK tour, and some of the footage they're sending back, it's like, holy mackerel. It's like that band's got a whole new life. Everybody, it's just everything rose up, and he's playing like a beast. And it's just fantastic. He's a gift to us all in the rock and roll world. So very, very happy to hear that. And there's a U.S. tour that they've got going. You can get tickets for now. They're not coming to Ohio as of yet, but maybe this will change their mind.
Yes.
So, everybody think good thoughts. Good thoughts, and have them come to Ohio.
They're all listening to the Guitar Knobs, probably.
Duh.
So invite them, Todd.
Hey, come on the show.
No.
Oh.
Come to Ohio.
Come to Ohio and come on the show. Before you play your show. Can you imagine if that happened? Oh, my God. I would lose my mind. Eric Avery, get out of here. Oh, I'm all a Twitter.
Some would say you've already lost your mind.
I have. Actually, when we were at Smashing Pumpkins,
yes,
when Jane's Addiction, who was touring with Troy Van Leeuwen at the time, when we were in the back, Eric was just grabbing some food. We're always close by the people that we admire so much in the food section whenever we go on these things. Noel,
our junkets.
Noel was sitting there 5 feet having a sandwich. I can't bother him. He's eating a sandwich.
Well, you bother other people while they're eating
but
sandwiches.
They're not those guys.
Yeah.
I got to respect that. Anyways.
Noel would probably clock you.
Elad, are you a Jane's Addiction fan at all?
Somewhat. Not really.
Okay.
Don't mean to...
No,
offend.
that's all fair. That's all fair. One of the things that I encourage
people.
Yes, go ahead.
difference between you and me is I totally would have interrupted him eating his sandwich.
Yes, I can understand that.
I would have said, hey, you going to finish that?
I do want to get invited back to these things, so that is one of the things you got. But I really encourage people who have not seen them or have only seen like, oh, I saw the video a long time ago or something like that. Man, they put on such a great show, and the music is just so big. There's a reason they were so influential. Okay. Also, I ran across a thing here that we have 3 announcements here.
Jeez.
I got a letter from this gentleman.
Cease and desist.
No, I kind of like one of those. This is. It was weird. I almost didn't open it up because it was from UBS, which is short for the Union Bank of Switzerland. I was like, how did I get what? Why am I getting a letter?
Oh, maybe that Nigerian prince deposited some money into your Swiss bank account.
But if you're French, it's Union de Banque Suisse. Yeah. Anyways, but I open it up and there's a guitar pick attached to it with a UBS Bank logo on it.
That's pretty cool.
All right. So Swiss banks, guitars, sounds like a party.
Yeah.
He says, I'm not going to read the whole dang thing, of
Just
course.
Highlights,
He says, I'm a devoted listener and Patreon supporter of the Guitar Knobs podcast. I appreciate everything from the silly banter and clever witticisms to the actual information I learn each episode. I recognize that you host the podcast out of your own passion, and Tony. But I also feel this wasn't addressed to you, Tony. Don't get all worked up.
Well, tell him to send me a pic, too.
But I also feel compelled to let you know that your fans are genuinely thankful for your content. I was not expecting that opening up a bank letter.
Yeah, exactly.
That was really, really fantastic. And I just wanted to say a huge thanks to John Wilno. It's a tricky name. I don't know if I got that right, but I really do appreciate that. Said he might be rolling in through town. And, we'll
Who
talk.
Is this?
We'll talk. But if you need, he's devoted his life to helping people with their finances. And if you're like, hey, I could really use help with that, that's who you can contact. And I guess, I'm not going to give out his information here, but if that seems like something you'd like to do, you feel free to shoot me a message and I'll forward the information to him. Anyways, that was really cool. I really appreciate that.
See that.
Thank you very much, John.
That's cool.
Yes. Now, this is a little bit of a discussion thing for us, gentlemen. Elad, are you a fan of the Cars?
The Cars?
Yes.
Like Mustangs? And I'm just kidding. No, okay.
I almost had a hernia.
Who are you a fan of?
I don't know if it's your cup of tea, but Lamb of God, Bench
yeah,
Sevenfold, things like that.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, we're not talking about them right now, but
we're talking about the Cars.
Yes. Anyways, it's a really interesting thing. I struggle with some of the writing these days in guitar forums and stuff. We've had Chris Gill on. We've had a couple of authors on who have written for these things in the past. And I've seen a couple articles come through and I'm like, what the heck? Who's writing some of this stuff? Well, this one, I wouldn't say necessarily falls totally into that category, but I do disagree. This is regarding, it was an article in Guitar World. They're talking about Elliot Easton of the Cars.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and everybody who's been listening knows
he's a lefty,
I'm a fan of the Cars. He's a lefty. He was talking about one of his most iconic solos. And the headline got me because it says, I blew up. I had tears in my eyes because I was so upset. I grabbed the guitar and I just ripped through it. Elliot Easton on the emotional roller coaster that helped him record one of the most iconic guitar solos. Okay, you got me. I'm going to listen. I'm going to read this. I go on to read, blah, 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 blah. And he talks about this, and he gets down to this part, and it says, I just blew up. I was like, fuck this, man. I'm playing a solo. He goes on. I put the bass down, grabbed my guitar, and I had tears in my eyes because I was just so upset and angry. I grabbed the guitar, they ran the track, and I just played it one go. I just ripped through it. And the band went, yeah, that's it. I said, what are you talking about? It's the same solo that they had just dogged him for. They said, well, before it sounded like you were thinking about it too much. To put it mildly, Easton was furious. I could have killed him because I was so excited to put the solos on. And then when I got such a non-reaction to it, all the blood went to my head. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. This is the best thing I've done yet, and you want something different? So that's what happened with that. That's quoted by Elliot Easton.
Which solo is this?
It's from Touch and Go.
Oh.
Which is a different one. I don't personally think that's his best one. I mean,
no.
But anyways, they got the article going here. Here's what I had this is what I took issue with, and Elad, I would love to get your input on this. It says, no, this is the author saying this. While moving a bandmate to tears might have been a step too far, there's perhaps something we can all take away from Easton's experience. No matter how technically impressive or dazzling a solo is, it won't capture the listener's imaginations if it isn't executed with the right feel. Okay, one part of that I completely agree with. The other part of the half is bollocks. The first part is, first of all, they clearly weren't trying to move him to tears. They just didn't agree with it. They were nonplussed. They were impartial. They were, what's the other I word?
Uninterested.
No, indifferent. They were indifferent. Indifferent, which is a terrible thing. Nobody who creates things wants an indifferent response. That's worse.
They say
that's the worst.
That hate is not the opposite of love. Indifference
is, yes. So, my personal thought, I'll save for a moment, but Elad, what is your take on that?
On them being indifferent?
Well, the idea that this gentleman feels like that was a step too far.
I totally disagree. I mean, you're allowed not to like something.
Yes. Yes, you are.
I think sometimes...
And you know what? To be honest, I think it may have been exaggerated, this whole thing. Maybe he was a little upset, a little chuffed that they didn't like it because he's worked so hard on it. But to tears? Come on.
Apparently. But in his own words, move to tears.
Well, there is something to be said. I mean, a really good producer will sometimes drive people to the point, you poke the bear enough and something usually either ferocious or bad comes out.
Yeah. And Metallica had an entire movie devoted to that.
Well, Phil Spector had a loaded gun while he was producing the Ramones, so,
Yeah.
They weren't allowed to leave till they got it right.
Yeah. Well, I guess they did.
Thankfully.
My issue with that is that, and you got to realize, like, on my day job, I'm completely immersed in subjectivity and making sure that, we're trying to push for the best thing. And you need people to do that for you. You need your friends. You need people who are going to be brave enough and who will trust in your relationship enough to say, that's not good enough, man. You can do better than that. I know you can do better than that.
Absolutely.
Just saying like, no, that's cool. That's not going to get you anywhere. So it isn't a step too far. And I think, don't worry about stepping on people's toes. If they're your friends and if you are together trying to create something great, you have to push. You have to do things that are going to be uncomfortable. You're not going to, it's not all, rays of sunshine and stuff.
Or it's not all touch and go.
Or it was very touch and go. Yes. Anyways.
Driven to tears.
I read this and I was like, hey, that's cool. And I was like, wait a damn minute. That is absolutely, sir, you do not understand the creative process, I don't believe. So
I think you should
Anyways.
should write a comment.
I think someone will probably tell him.
Yeah.
You should have heard these clowns talking about you, dude. Anyways, we would welcome L.A. Deason on the show at any point in time to discuss this matter.
Yes. Bring a box of Kleenex.
Oh, yes. Anyways, that's all our stuff for announcement-y bits.
Yes. Where do we go now?
well-
Where do we go from here, Todd?
Well, we go from there to here, which is what's going on in your music world this week. Start off with Tanya Bolonsky, and then we're going to check in with our good friend Elad.
Well, Todd, this week, I don't think if anybody was had any kind of news feed coming through their phone or computer or whatever, they couldn't miss that the famous Hootenanny 12 that John Lennon and George Harrison played on Help auctioned for almost $3 million.
There was a lot of auction news.
Yes.
A lot of auction news.
So,
$3 million?
well, it's 2.875.
And what the guitar was this? The Hootenanny?
It was an acoustic 12-string
Okay.
Hootenanny.
Framus.
German company.
Yes.
I mean, in its day, it wasn't a bad instrument. I think
it's pronounced Framus.
Schnell Framus. But anyhow, and it's, I guess what drove the price up, because they were only expecting something like, maybe it was going to go for 700,000 or, maybe 800,000. I mean, this shot up to almost $3 million.
That's crazy pants.
And it was allegedly found in an attic somewhere.
But a hamburger at a restaurant's now $13. So I mean,
Well, yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, no, or not. I guess I get shocked that these, kind of relics go for such.
But it's not an iconic guitar.
It is if you're a Beatles fan, because in the movie Help, it was, both John and George played this guitar, and then a few subsequent albums, some 12-string stuff.
Yeah.
To me,
No.
I wouldn't go a penny over 700,000.
Yeah. Well, hey, that's actually, if you would have gone a little bit over that, you would have been able to score Prince's Cloud.
Oh, that's
guitar
right. That's right.
That originally sold for like $10,000.
Yeah.
They just sold that same guitar for $900,000.
Yeah.
What?
It's when doves cry.
The yellow Cloud guitar.
I know which one of which you speak.
Yes. All right.
I mean, it's crazy. I guess there's too many people in this country that have too much money.
Clearly.
Because, come on.
Yeah.
Instead of buying that $3 million guitar,
That's crazy.
How about giving it to some kids that are trying to learn guitar in school or something like that?
Well, this is on the heels too. In some of the same news that we were hit with, Slash went on record saying, "Oh, I don't want to spend money on really expensive guitars." Literally hours after releasing a $15,000 Gibson. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because he doesn't have to spend money on it because they gave him one.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not considered big money to him.
Well, that's true.
Yes. I don't know.
I mean, I remember when I used to fret over $100 for a guitar.
I still do.
Okay.
I got kids in college.
$100.
Yes. Okay.
So that's that.
I took back a $24 pedal.
Well, that's all right.
Yes.
I didn't like that pedal.
Yeah, it didn't work. Okay, so thank you, Tony. That was great. Elad, what's going on in your music world this week?
Well, first of all, I'm continuously chipping away at my Yamaha Pacifica refinish.
Oh,
Nice.
It's actually my first guitar that I got. It's a 1994 112J.
cool.
I got it in 1996 or so. So I put new pickups. I pretty much replaced everything, and now I'm kind of giving it a punk look. I put P90s on the bridge, and then two kind of hot-ish single coils.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wanted it to be noisy and obnoxious looking. So now I'm kind of doing the finishing touches, and it's looking great. I put it's actually right behind me, so I'm looking at it. I put a kill switch on it, kind of really obnoxious looking, but the pickup is unbelievable. The pickups I got them from this guy Tom Brantley.
Oh,
So,
not familiar. Is he a?
He was
just a
recommended
guy?
to me by he was recommended to me by a friend, Tom Brantley Rewinds.
Oh, okay.
And wow, I mean, I've never played a P90 that I liked, and this pretty much is the only one I liked ever.
Cool.
So yeah, he did a good job at it. And I asked him to like scratch it up and make it look kind of gross, which he did. So,
Excellent.
yeah.
Excellent. What color are you gonna make this thing?
I already painted it. I wanted it to look like it was found on the beach. So I kind of gave it like a whitewash look. I sanded it down to nothing. And then I kind of gave it like a whitewash matte look. And now I'm kind of putting like filthy stickers all over it and, duct taping it up and kind of giving it the real punk aesthetic.
Nice.
If you can get a cat to pee on it, then you're home free.
Perfect. Yes.
Yes.
It needs
The
to
smell will
like
never
that.
go away.
It won't, as I can attest to. Well, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Captain Todd?
Well, I inadvertently ran across a video, and I don't know if I feel like I'm getting these served up a lot. I don't know why, but I'm getting a lot of Steve Albini stuff headed my way. Probably most of us are out in the guitar enthusiast community. And I got to be honest, I was not a big Steve Albini guy. I just wasn't as familiar with him as a lot of people were. Anyways, I started to watch it because I was like, this could be kind of interesting. So it was on his YouTube channel, and it's called Electrical Audio, and it was microphone technique for speaker cabinets, and I was like, oh, okay. And he had a diagram with a dry erase board, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. Super, super informative. I learned quite a few things, and I was like, doggone it, Steve, I like what you did here. I'm going to watch some more of your videos. Rest in peace. But if you get a chance to check it out, it is very informative, especially if you're a gigging musician, not just for recording. But he was speaking specifically about, studio recording and stuff. But a lot of that actually, I feel, applies to when you show up at a gig and the sound guy's crawling all over your stuff, and then you look back and you go, I guess that's okay. So check that out. It's microphone technique for speaker cabinets, and that is on Steve Albini's Electrical Audio channel on YouTube. Huh. Yes, some very interesting things. And helped me better understand ribbon mics too, which was kind of a neat thing. So lots of knowledge out there for all of us.
Do you think you're going to apply some of the things you learned for gigging?
Yeah, I am, because one of the things was the distance factor. We always see mics just slammed up against the grill cloth. He talks about, where distance is sort of like the sweet spot, where you have converging sound and all that stuff. And I think we've probably all been romanced about using a mic on bias, angled towards the cabinet, or is it straight on, or is it on the edge, or where is the sound happening, and why does that matter? He goes into really great detail about that, and if it's a ribbon or if it's a condenser, yada yada yada. Watch the video; it's gonna be great. So, I will apply that, or at least try it and see if it actually sounds different or not. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're at a gig, you're probably checking out people's pedal boards, I imagine. I mean, I do.
That's you, Todd.
That is me. But I know that's a lot of us out there. And one of the things we're bound to say is, what a mess that cable system is. What are you doing, man?
It's like spaghetti.
It's like all jammed up and crazy back there. And there's a great way to resolve that. Use Tour Gear Design's patch cables.
Oh, yes.
Yes, it makes things so easy. All the different lengths, You don't have to have them wound up and bending all over the place, and they don't have to be smacking into each other or tucked around and looped and all kinds of crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. They got something for every need that you can think of on your pedal board. Go check out tourgeardesigns.com and load up your cart. Then when you see the little box that says, do you have a coupon code? You say, yes, I do. Thanks to the Guitar Knobs, all one word, all lowercase, then you're going to get 15% off.
15.
That's a fantastic discount, right, Elad?
That's amazing.
I know. And there are friends up north with all of our other friendly Canadians up there waving hello to us right now. I can see them. Hello, everyone.
Oh, Canada.
Anyways, we want to say a ginormous thank you to Tour Gear Designs Patch Cables for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor. Tony?
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor.
Alrighty, Elad Mezrahi from Gear Ant. What is your second 4 on the floor?
So I actually thought about this for a very long time. It hasn't really changed much since the last time. I mean, it kind of has, but the bones are the same. First and foremost, Digitech whammy. I can't stop playing with the whammy. It just opens up my different playing styles. I haven't tried the DT, the whammy DT, which is the one with the whammy on one side and the drop tuning on the other side.
Yeah.
I want to try it really badly, and I think that if I do, it's probably going to replace my whammy. So we'll put a little placeholder on that.
Okay. Are you scouting for one right now?
I am. I've been looking on Reverb for quite a while. I set, how you set your price point, and if it notifies you that it drops below or somebody posts something below a certain price threshold.
Yeah. I don't know that a lot of people know about that, actually. That's a good point.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great point. You want to just talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, you can actually, whenever you, here, I'm actually going on Reverb right now. And when you go on to, here, how do I find something? Of course, now it's going to take me forever. But if you favorite something, then you get a little pop-up. I don't know if this happens on your mobile, but if you get a little pop-up, you can have different parameters. Mm-hmm. So let's say you want a Digitech Whammy DT.
Yes.
So you search for Digitech Whammy DT, you scroll down to the bottom, and you could favorite the actual search, and then you could set a price point. So let's say it goes for, I don't know, $250. You say, okay, I want to see one that drops below $230. So you set that parameter, and then if something comes up for under that price point, it'll send you an email and notify you.
That is a massive pedal, by the way.
Yeah, it's pretty big. But it's 4 on the floor, so I'm not really worried about space, right?
That's true. No space. You can get one from Italy.
Get all the big pedals.
So it's for $281.46, direct from Legnano, Italy.
Yeah, that's above my price point.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking for a little bit lower than that.
You might have to find one next to the guy selling CDs on the sidewalk out there.
You mean in the street? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, they might have one. How about number 2?
Number 2, this is kind of a no-brainer for me. I have a friend, Alec, from Mask Audio Electronics.
Yes.
He makes this pedal.
Tell him we said hi next time you talk to him, will you?
I will, and I'll tell him you're looking forward to his next appearance.
Oh, yeah.
So he makes this pedal called the Black Math, which is a fuzz.
Yeah, that was his debut pedal, right?
Yeah. So I actually have never tried this until, I don't know, 6 months ago or so. Uh-huh. And he sent me one over, and it pretty much ticks all my boxes. Ah. I tried getting all the fuzz sounds I want. I kind of like really nasty and gross fuzz. It's got that. It's got the big muff sound. It's got everything you could think of just in one decent sized box. Mm-hmm. So that's my number 2.
Okay.
Number 3, I was originally going to go with my favorite circuit, which is the MXR Distortion Plus / DOD 250, mm-hmm. which I think Tony also likes, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But being that I'm only allowed to choose 4, I chose the MXR Super Badass.
Okay.
I don't know if you know that pedal.
Yeah.
It's
I've been tempted to buy that
EQ.
many times, and I never have.
It's so cheap. Just buy it. Just do it now. We'll wait.
We'll wait. Yeah. Pause the podcast. Get
Yeah.
on there.
So what do you love about that pedal?
It just gives me every sound, every distortion sound I want. I can get out of it. Very close to the 250 kind of Marshall-y sound.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but good enough where I'll be happy with it, you know? So yeah, you know, I'm limited. So Super Badass. I actually had one on my pedal board at one point where I had little kids when my kids were young, and I had to kind of cross out the word badass. Just, you know.
Yeah. Got to be a good dad, you know.
Yeah. And number 4 is called the Digitech Hyperphase. This was, I think, I think it came out in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a phaser with kind of 7 modes. And specifically mode 7 is like this PLL type phaser. It's just really random and really wacky. And it's just a lot of fun.
All right. I have never seen that pedal.
Yeah, it's great.
The 2010s. Sounds like the
Was it?
Hyperphase. Well, maybe this was they had a second model or something. I'm not really sure. I'm just checking things out as I see it. It looks 2010s, or at least.
Huh. I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah, there might be some earlier than that. Not too sure.
It's lots of fun. Their whole Hyper series has these modes. So they have the flanger, which is also kind of, it's like a sample hold mode 7 on all of them, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of randomizes, and it's just a lot of fun.
That's
I tried
cool.
recreating it and failed horribly. So yeah, that was a letdown on my part.
Well, good luck with the Hyperphase. How about that? Well, yeah, you sure do like the Digitech people.
Oh yeah,
That's cool. That's cool. Little brand loyalty going on there. I'm smelling.
yeah.
Nice.
Actually, if I was gonna go for brand loyalty, it would probably be MXR.
Okay.
Yeah. The one thing that they didn't do super well is their fuzzes. They kind of fall short there.
Yeah.
But everything else is pretty great.
Well, those two guys, the guys like their people, you know, those two
Yeah,
companies. I mean,
those two guys.
they contributed an awful lot to the pedal world we know now. So, speaking of the pedal world we know now, that sounds like a great segue into where you fall into this mix. Now, you sent us 2 pedals. Since we had you on last, at that point in time, you had just done the Yellow Jacket.
That's right.
Can you give people because that's a great pedal. Refresh the people on the Yellow Jacket, will you?
So the Yellow Jacket was essentially two 250s in a box. I had two distortion pluses in a box. I'm sorry. I had 2 distortion pluses on my pedal board, and I wanted to conserve space, so I kind of crammed them together into one box. And I liked how it sounded, and then I kind of built upon it and, you know, made it my own. Yeah. So, I mean, I like simple. So I didn't put any order switchers. I didn't put any, you know, different diode changes and so on. Instead, what I did was I put my own flavor on one side, my own flavor of the Distortion Plus, which is a germanium diode clipping distortion. And then on the left side is the DOD 250, which is a silicon diode distortion.
Okay.
And kind of smashed them together and added some boosts and stuff like that, and it sounds wonderful.
There's a blend on that, right?
There is no blend. There's actually internal boosts inside.
Okay.
I should have put a blend. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really should have put a blend. That would have been cool.
You can, you know, you got the future. The future is yours to do with what you will.
The plus model.
Hold on, let me write this down.
Yeah, you could call that one the Japanese, the giant Japanese hornet.
The Murder Hornet?
The murder hornet.
Hornets.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Ooh, I love that.
beasts. Anyhow, well, cool. Now, if your interest is piqued from that description, which is it honestly, it's a great sounding pedal, like just fantastic distortion coming at you. Where can people again go to check out said device?
Gearant.com.
Do it. All right.
Do it.
And when you're there, you're going to see a whole bunch of other stuff. And, you know, Elad being the, how do you want to say, straightforward type of gentleman, said,
yes.
Hey, when am I going to come back on the show?
Oh, yeah.
Which we love. We tell everybody, we're like, hey, you know, if you've been on the show, the door's open to you. So I appreciated that, and that you weren't sitting there, you know,
waiting for the invite
with a knife carving our name. Why don't they invite me back on the table?
Oh, find them.
But you've been busy. You've got a handful of other pedals up there since we last talked. Two of which are in our presence right now.
Well, actually, one of which is not out yet.
One of which is not out.
We can talk about it. Yeah,
yes, we'll talk about that one last. How about we do that?
All right.
All right. So first, I was intrigued by the pedal called the Velvet Ant. Now,
yes.
All of your things are insect-based, yes?
Yes.
Do you have an affinity for the etymologists?
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah.
It's more of my son's idea, so I kind of just rolled with it.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yep.
So this is called the Velvet Ant, and it is in an MXR size box. I would, I would
safely
say that.
Yeah, it's right size.
Yep.
About that. Handsome box. This is a very unique pedal. This is not a pedal that you're going to put on and go, I'm going to get all the sounds I need for rock and roll.
No.
You will get a very specific thing. And what was really cool is I didn't know what to expect with this. But in a recent practice that we were in for my band, I had an idea. And I was like, you know what we should do right here? I want to drop out. And I was trying to figure out, like, what can I do besides like just rolling off my tone or something like that, because I'm not doing that. And I wanted a more of a statement kind of a thing, not just low volume for this one specific part that kind of leads us into like a big build. Mm-hmm. And lo
and behold,
I put this on the pedal board and set a couple parameters, and I clicked it not knowing what it would do, and I said, oh, that's the thing. That's the thing I need right there. That's the sound. Now,
I heard him say it.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us exactly what this thing does, Elad?
Well, let me start by explaining what led me to build this pedal.
Perfect.
Okay. So I was listening. Usually I get my ideas either one of two ways. Either an idea pops into my head. What if A and B equals C? And then I just roll with it and see what happens. Most of the time I fail. Or I hear something that's probably done in the studio, but in a song, I hear something that kind of gives me inspiration. And I try to emulate it, and 99% of the time it fails, but it does, other things come of it. So with the Velvet Ant, I heard a song that had kind of like a old phonograph sound that I just fell in love with. And I wanted to make this, and I've actually tried to make this. This is going on, I think, 2 years. Actually, before the Yellow Jacket, I've been trying. Oh, to
really?
Make this. Yeah. And I wanted something very simple, so I, put pen to paper and tried to figure it out and whatever. But I also wanted it to have the old dust crackle sound and some white noise and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So with that kind of stuff, you can't really do analog. So the dust crackle portion is not analog. That's actually digital. And it's just introduced on the side of the actual circuit. So it's you kind of have the circuit, which is a lo-fi type of circuit. And then you have on top of that, at the end, you have kind of a digital aspect, which is the dust and the white noise. The white noise is not really digital, but it sort of is, but I guess you could call it digital. So that's where I came up with the idea, and Tom from Glowfly, actually, I don't know if you know him, but this guy's a mad scientist. So he was actually helping me for a very long time until we figured it out.
That's super cool. And now some people might be going like, what about the warped vinyl from Chase Bliss? But this is not that.
This is not that.
So I just want to add one thing. First and foremost, the Chase Bliss warped vinyl is next to none. You can't compete with something like that. However, I'm a very simple guy. I have a few knobs on my pedal.
Yeah.
I turn it. I get the sound quick.
Yep.
And I just go on with my day. That's why I built the Yellow Jacket so simply with 4 knobs. That's why most of my pedals, I think, I'm actually looking at my pedals. I think the Velvet Ant, which has only 6 knobs, to one low pass, 1 high pass, 1 dust, 1 crackle. I'm sorry, 1 dust, 1 noise, gain, and volume. That's it. Yeah. And that one is my busiest pedal.
Yeah. I think that's fair. That's fair.
So that's
why we brought that up. That's why we brought that up. It's like this does a thing, and that's what it does. That's all it does.
Yes.
And what I loved about it was it just slipped right into an idea that I had that I was like, wow. And I guess, for lack of better terms, if you want to try to get a picture in your head of what that sounds like, if you think about the opening to Wish You Were Here.
Yes.
Get that in your head, but without the acoustic. So apply that to, electric. And I was like, that was a perfect dropout because it is a different sound altogether, but it's still this. It's not like a different kind of a distortion. You're not rolling off the tone. You're not just dropping the volume. You're introducing a pullback, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
It sounds like it's coming through old car speakers.
Yeah, or an old, phonograph, like a record player or something.
Oh,
so
yes.
I actually was on the fence about the gain knob. I didn't know if I wanted to have a gain knob.
I like that you did have that.
But I felt like it gave it this AM radio type of vibe. As you increase it, it kind of gives you like an AM radio, old type of FM type radio, it just added to it. So I said, why not?
The signal just enough.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I like that especially because if I was to click that and drop out of a signal that had been very overdriven, it would be too much.
Yes.
Then you'd be like, "Whoa, what just happened? Where'd the guitar go?" But with that gain, you're not getting into distortion. You're just giving it a little bit of dirt so it feels natural. And yeah, that's perfect. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, when Todd handed this off to me, he had the noise and crackle pegged, and I plugged this thing in.
Well, I want to see what it did.
Yeah. Well, next time I point everything.
Broken?
The first, exactly. I said, "Oh shit, I broke another one." Not that I've ever broken a pedal before, but no, it definitely. And what Todd says is right. I mean, if you're looking for that kind of sound, or it's maybe some would call it a one-trick pony, but it works.
It would work killer on like bass and synth too.
Yeah, I would see. Yeah, I mean, basically, or vocals.
Yeah, that's true.
So actually, the V2 is going to have the ability to switch to vocals. I just have to add a few components over there just to change a little.
And a blend knob.
And a blend knob. Don't forget the blend
knob.
Yeah, that's really cool. And the thing that I think the real magic in this one, the gain is a little bit of pixie dust, but the magic comes in where you've got the low and the high, because that those are in essence passes, and that's where you can really shape it to. This sounds like a warm old like speaker in box record player type thing or phonograph.
You pull the bass all the way down, and it
Right.
sounds like it's coming from one of those old
or a little transistor handheld radio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? So that's it's really cool. Really, really cool.
Thank you.
What I haven't tried though is that into something, like actively into something. I suppose I should try that.
It sounds really cool into a phaser. I know I mentioned phaser before or whatever, but it sounds really cool into a phaser.
Yeah, I can
try that out.
I will. Yeah, because I basically had it on a switcher, so I was like, I hit the switch and it toggles between my normal signal and then this pedal, and I was like, yeah, I can dig this. Very cool. Even if it's just for one song, you know, if it makes that song special. You know, this isn't probably something you're not going to play the entire time, you know, unless you have
I'd like to see someone try doing that, though.
Yeah. Well, actually, what we were talking about running this into things, that could change that altogether.
That could, yeah. Especially, I could see where a phaser would really take full advantage of that. It would give it even that more weird, warped kind of sound going.
Yeah. So check that out. Give this a try. It's worth it, and it's just that kind of extra thing that you don't even know you need till you try it. Or maybe you do know you need. And then you'll get it, and then you'll have it.
Or you need to know.
Or you do need to know, yes.
Or just get it, and then you'll realize
Or just
you
buy
need
it.
Yes.
Come on, buy it.
Buy it.
Yes.
Come on.
Just do it. And then, so tell us about a couple of the other new things that you have, and then we'll get to this brand new little ditty here.
Well, I actually have, I'm counting them right now, 6 different pedals that are ready to go.
Wow.
6 different circuits. My biggest flaw in Gearant is the content, is the making the videos, you know, marketing and so on and so forth. I just want to make pedals. I want to make circuits. I want to come up with stuff and so on. So these 6 are ready. Bunch of fuzzes, I have a phaser. I have, what else? I have a chorus. But regardless. So what I've done was I kind of shifted my operation since we last spoke to in-house operations. I do everything in-house, from drilling to powdering to the design to the circuitry to the building. Everything is done in my Brooklyn basement by me. So I get to make very low quantities of pedals, very low batches, and I get to keep a low price point, which is what I was aiming for. You know, it's not about the millions and billions of dollars that us pedal makers make. It's more about the circuits. I like getting the emails saying, "Hey, I love this. This is amazing. Thank you so much." Or, you know, every once in a while I'll get a track with my pedal in it, and that makes my week.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I go for. I mean, and actually, what I want is if you did record that track, Todd,
I will. That's going to make it to a recording for sure.
Yeah, so I want to hear that. So
we're going to be doing that in the fall.
So that's kind of my goal, just to pump out a bunch of circuits. I have one major goal, which is to make my own Gearant filled pedal board. It's a big ask because there are some circuits that are going to be tough to make, like Digitech whammy type of circuit. I don't think I can emulate because it's, you know, but you know, that's kind of my goal. I want to make an all Gearant pedal board, which would be amazing. But yeah, I mean, I have a lot of pedals. I just enjoy building, designing, and passing it along and hearing what people think.
Cool. Well, that's a great way to approach this. And yeah, like we're talking $129 to $169 for these really cool pedals out here. That's a good deal. So let's just get some people familiar with some of the things that you have on the site. Because again, when you said, "Hey, when's it my turn?" I was like, "Well, I haven't heard anything." And then I went to the page and I was like, "Wait, what?" Because you basically just had, you know, the one pedal that you had knocked out at the time, which was the Yellow Jacket. And since then, you've got the Velvet Ant, the deadleaf, the harlequin, the termite, the millipede, the Asian tiger, the orb weaver, the cicada, and then there's the lost boss.
Oh, that's just
a one-off.
That was just a little one-off art project that I did. It's a Boss SD1 that I wanted to look like was found on the side of the road.
Huh.
So it kind of has like moss and rust and whatever. That was fun.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Let's talk about just real quick what's going on with these other pedals and what was the genesis behind them.
Well, first and foremost, let's talk about the cicada.
Sure.
So the cicada is kind of a crazy pedal. It's too bad. You know what? I'm going to send you one. I want you to. It may not be up your alley. It's not for everyone. It's a fuzz and a phaser that can be used independently or in unison, which is kind of meant to be used. But it's a really nasty fuzz. It goes from nasty to nastier, very loud. The phaser portion is from the old school. You remember those Maestro phaser pedals, the ones with the speed knobs on the side that you could kind of control with your foot? I don't know if you've ever seen those.
Yep, I remember those.
But so it's like it was taken from that, but given, a new modern twist to it, the phaser portion. So like I said, when I come up with stuff, it's not really for everyone, and that's fine. I'm not trying to make the millions. So the cicada, I had the idea. I tried something, and it worked. So there's that.
It's a really cool looking pedal too.
Thank you.
I mean, the artwork on it is really, really cool, and I like your doing one colored knob to make it distinct. That's kind of a nice little thing there too.
Yeah, thanks.
And this is the perfect year to do it, because isn't this like every 67 years we're supposed to get inundated with cicada?
Isn't it like 17 years?
No, but this is like
this one is the special one.
This
right?
is the big one.
Yeah,
the big one.
Yeah. This is the solar eclipse of the cicada world.
Yes.
Yes. And this looks like it's in sort of an OCD box, a style box, yes?
So no, actually.
Oh,
so the cicada and the yellow jacket were my initial enclosures. Those are bent steel, custom bent steel enclosures. I designed them myself and I had them fabricated. These are like heavy, like a brick.
Yeah.
Very 2 millimeter, I think it was. Yeah, 2 millimeter cold rolled steel. Each of them was bent by machinery or whatever, however they make it. I don't know. But those two, the yellow jacket and the cicada are the only ones that I did. But then I wanted to keep the price point down. So I went with the standard aluminum enclosures going forward.
Got it. Now, is that going to be in this MXR size kind of thing or the standard Hammond style?
Which one? The cicada?
Yeah.
It's kind of a in between. MXR. It's like an in the middle type of pedal.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it has the height of the Hammond 1590N, 125B, whatever you want to call it, and the height, the depth of that 125B and the height of the 1590B. So it's a little fatter.
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Right on. And there's some great demos of that on your site as well, so people can kind of check out what's going on. From one of our former guests, William J. Benetti.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Anyways.
Will's the best.
The what?
Will is the best.
Yeah. Great content. Good dude.
Great player.
Good dude. Yeah, great player too. Let's hit how about you want to hit the deadleaf?
Yeah, so let me backtrack a little bit and let me just say the millipede, the Asian tiger, and the deadleaf were all three. So basically I woke up one morning and I'm like, what if, and then these came to fruition, right? So I'll start off with the millipede. There's a builder, their name was Devi Ever. A while ago. They made very simple yet gnarly sounding pedals. Very, very simple. I mean, like 3 transistors and a couple of resistors, and boom, you have this like amazing sounding fuzz, right?
Yeah, I have the Torns Peaker with the person sitting on the floor with the rainbow stuff.
Yeah. I know exactly what you're
Fantastic,
talking about.
yeah. Great stuff.
So I said, okay, so the way that Devi ever made their circuits is essentially they kind of took one component or one building block or different type of resistors or whatever and just made a few tweaks, and boom, there's another pedal. That's how they did their all of their circuits.
Yeah.
So the millipede is basically 5 of her pedals in one.
Jeez.
So what it does is
those are pretty hard to get these days. I
Yeah.
mean, all those original pedals, the original builds, those are tougher
of
to
course,
get a hold of.
Not to knock on Devi or anything like that, but I did put, reverse polarity protection, all that good stuff, just to protect the pedal itself, because the original circuits didn't have it. But there's a rotary on that, and it pretty much lets you switch between the different pedal types. So as you turn the rotary, it takes those building blocks and kind of moves them around to different orders, which gives you the different pedals, which is the way Devi did it. So that's the millipede. It consists of, hold on, I'll open it up, the Dark Boost, the Ruiner, the Hyperion, I'm losing picture, and the 33 Boost, which is kind of more of a janglier boost than the original Dark Boost. And then if you flip the toggle up, it gives you a Ruiner, but missing one transistor, which is built for bass, essentially. So Ruiner bass. The Deadleaf.
That's $149, you guys. That's like 5 pedals in one.
I told you, I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it for the funny. I don't mess around, guys. It's cheap stuff. No, not cheaply built.
No. Affordable.
Affordable, yes.
Accessible is even better.
Yes. The Deadleaf is actually 2 of Devi's pedal, which is the Disaster Fuzz and the Crackle Fuzz. The Disaster Fuzz is more like a oscillating octave-y type fuzz, and the Crackle Fuzz is a very usable fuzz, actually. I think out of all of them, the Crackle Fuzz is probably my favorite. That and the US of Devi Evers. So I wanted to build one. I was going to put more, and I was going to add different options, but sometimes you have option paralysis, and less is more sometimes. The Asian Tiger is so this is based off of Devi Ever, but it's kind of my own take. I wanted a huge 1 knob fuzz, but I could really never find a 1 knob fuzz that I really liked.
Okay.
So this is actually a 2 knob fuzz. If you look at the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see this tiny little knob poking out, and that's the volume knob. So the huge knob is just this massive fuzz knob that lets you fine tune it. I found that the bigger the knob, actually, the better you can tune it, believe it or not. And then the little tiny knob on the bottom is just a volume knob. It's also a very usable fuzz, I don't want to say it's not as usable as the Deadleaf.
Yes.
But it's different.
It's a statement piece, if nothing else.
Yes. It looks like someone was murdered over it.
Yes. Well, I love your copy here. The Asian Tiger is a mosquito. But who wants a pedal called a mosquito?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. So it said mosquitoes suck, both literally and figuratively.
Yes. Indeed. Very cool. Very cool. That's a fun pedal.
Yeah. That was more like kind of like the artsy side of me.
Yeah.
Which is I try to incorporate myself onto these pedals.
Right. Yeah, well, you can tell. You can tell. So how about the Termite?
The Termite is I was studying some ICs. Nobody wants to hear the nerdy jargon, but I was studying some ICs, and I kind of tried to put an IC together and in a circuit, and it didn't come out as intended. And then the termite came out, which is kind of like a Nintendo sounding octave down synth type of pedal.
Like a 8-bit kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I have I have a demo on my page over there.
Right.
You can check it out. It's
so
kind of
super
fun.
spitty and chunky.
Yeah, essentially.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, you said a couple of ICs. What Tony and I both nod our heads, but would you elaborate for those that may not be hip to it?
So there's an IC type called the CMOS chip. So I was studying CMOS ICs, and I came across this CD4069, and I was kind of playing around with it, trying to get a synth type of sound, and it kind of just demolished my signal when I turned it on. So I'm like, And then I just started playing like The Legend of Zelda over and over and over again. So I'm like, okay, this could be a thing. And I just kind of threw it together. And yeah. And it's very fairly priced as well.
Not bad.
Oh, and I wanted the biggest knob imaginable.
Yeah.
So
well,
this yes, I mean this is massive. So I actually couldn't find one. So I had them custom made.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I made a small batch of these. And I think I still have some up on my site.
Small batch, big knob.
Yeah, small batch, big knob.
There you go. All right. Well, that's fun. Let's see. What have we left out? Oh, we've got the Orb Weaver.
The Orb Weaver is actually not my circuit.
Oh.
This is not my creation. There was a builder called Seppuku, and they were, I think, around in like 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And I couldn't get their pedal, so I found this circuit. I kind of gave it a little, heave ho, and put my own little spin on it. But I will not take credit for this. This is an amazing circuit, but
it's a sub-octave synth.
Yes, it's a fuzz with some sub-octaveness, but this actually led me to the second pedal that you had.
Yes.
So I wanted something minus the synth, which is just a sub-octave fuzz.
Okay. So this is if you saw the Instagram post where I unboxed these, this is the absolutely beautiful cherry blossom covered graphic pedal called the Paper Wasp.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about it.
So I wanted, after I built the Orb Weaver, I found that it was a lot of fun, but I didn't find myself using it that often. I always went to different octaves and different. I just couldn't. It's a great pedal, but I wanted more. So I started looking into octave down pedals, and there aren't many analog octave down pedals out there, believe it or not. So I kind of came up with the circuit of an octave down pedal, and then I put a fuzz in front of it, right? And then I couldn't decide whether it should go in front or in the back, but we'll get to that later on.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, I wanted a very usable fuzz. And I don't know if you've tried it out. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Todd?
Of course, yeah.
So the fuzz that I was going for was kind of like a low gain to like a maximum gain fuzz, which is, all the way counterclockwise is kind of like really low gain fuzz territory. And then as you turn it, it just gets splattier and splattier. So where this pedal really shines, and I put a toggle switch in there that you can kind of cut the fuzz out altogether from the circuit, just in case you wanted just an octave down, which I found myself using a lot. So what I'll do is I'll put like an octave down right before a distortion, and kind of give it a little more body, so to speak, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Back to the Paper Wasp. So the fuzz and the octave are independent of each other as well. However, they can only be activated at the same time with one foot switch. There is a blend knob on there where you can go, where you kind of introduce the original unaltered signal, and then there's an octave down knob and an octave, 2 octave down knob. And you could introduce 1 octave and 2 octave and so on and so forth. And each of these take me forever to make because I gotta powder coat it, hydro dip it, powder coat it again, and then I gotta do the knobs. And each of these, it's a project of love, I guess.
I mean, it's a gorgeous pedal. It's really, really cool. You powder, so you dip it and powder coat it.
So this one, I actually have to powder coat it, dip it,
powder coat it white, dip it with my hydro film that I had made overseas, and then powder coat it clear. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a stunning finish. The first thing I was like, whoa,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, that's very
yeah.
cool.
Even on the knobs.
Then I got to do the knobs.
Jeez.
I got to paint the knobs, no powder coating because you can't stick them in ovens.
Right.
And then I got to dip them and then paint them again with clear coat.
Wow.
That's really impressive.
You're
getting a labor of love with this for sure.
So actually, I've decided that only the first run of these, which is going to be out in a few weeks, only the first run will have the complete wrap of the cherry blossom. The rest of them will only be white, and it will have the powder coated, wrapped knobs. But the rest of the enclosures will not be wrapped. It just takes too damn long, and I can't. I don't want to charge a crazy arm and a leg for it. It's not fair for the user, and it's So if somebody just wants my pedal and doesn't care for the cherry blossom, then you can wait for round 2. But round 1 is going to have the cherry blossom.
Get on it while it's hot, everybody.
Yeah, it is a beautiful pedal.
When are these coming out?
A couple weeks, actually. I'm planning to do the 6:30.
Okay.
Sunday. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
3 weeks.
Okay, so June 30th.
Yep.
That's when you're going to release these, everybody. All right.
Yes.
The one thing I really liked was, I was actually kind of surprised, even with the 2 octaves, is it tracks single notes really well.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's, obviously you don't, it gets a little mushy when you play more than one string or note, but yeah, it's really good. You take the fuzz out. I think I had the blend up probably to 3 o'clock and then mixed in the octave down 1, octave down 2.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, it's remarkable. You can get a lot of sound out of this thing.
Yeah.
It definitely does a thing. I don't think this is the kind of pedal where you just like plug in and just start going. Like you really take time to fiddle around with it to figure out what works best for your signal.
So actually, this is probably my first pedal that you actually have to do that. You have to kind of learn the pedal, which I'm going to include, obviously, tips and tricks. And, I think Boss gave those parameters in the little booklets back in the day. I don't know if they do that anymore, but the little knob parameters that they want.
Suggested settings.
Yeah, suggested settings. So I'm thinking about doing that and putting a little card in each of the pedals just to get people going. But this definitely needs a little bit of fiddling. But yeah, I mean it's super fun.
Nice. We like it. And it's I appreciate that you are trying to put something out there. You set up a lot of parameters for yourself. You didn't just say I'm going to make a pedal and I'm going to try to make as many of these as possible and sell as many as possible, and make as much money as possible. There's nothing wrong with making money, people, but if there are better ways to do that. If you're just trying to make a buck.
I just want to be clear. Buy my pedals. Give me money.
Yes. So that he can make more things.
Make more pedals.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
But what you're getting is you haven't sacrificed your artistic nature, your artistic endeavor, rather, and your sense of self in these, which is, I think, really important. And that can happen really easy when you're trying to make something as successful as possible, maybe
just
without
pump it out and without all the bells and
focus.
whistles.
Yeah.
Right.
Very, very cool. Well, I appreciate you going through all that. I was like, wow, we got a lot to talk about since
last time. Yeah.
And next time, I'm sure we'll have even more. So
Yeah.
for now, we're going to find out what Tony's got up his sleeve here.
Was I supposed to do something, Todd?
I certainly hope so. We've been sitting here a long time.
Well, you're right, Todd, because I was percolating whilst listening to the podcast. At this point of the show is a little game we like to play called Would You Rather?
Yes.
This Would You Rather, as probably some people know, many people know, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai are doing a summer tour.
Oh, yeah.
In addition to Joe Satriani touring with the Van Halen, we'll call it a tribute.
Yeah.
And
With Michael Anthony.
yeah,
right?
It's Sammy Hagar, Michael Anthony, Jason Bonham, which is really cool, and of course Joe Satriani. And then Steve Vai is touring with a couple of members of
and Moby on the ones and twos.
Yes, there you go. That's the one. The King Crimson tribute called Beat, and they're going to play 80s King Crimson, and that's Adrian Belew, Tony Levin, Danny Carey from Tool, the drummer, and of course Steve Vai. Both of those shows are going to be incredible.
I feel like everybody just figured out that he was really good. He's a really good drummer. I've seen stuff all over the place. Like, this guy's amazing. I'm like, this guy's been around for a while now.
Well, here's the issue. There's a schedule conflict,
Uh-oh.
And Joe and Steve have one of their co-headlining gigs in conflict with one of the Van Halen nights and the Beat nights. So the question is, would you rather fill in for Joe Satriani playing Van Halen stuff?
Yeah.
Or Steve
problem.
Vai playing King Crimson stuff?
No problem.
Would you rather?
Oh, boy.
Would you rather?
Jeez.
I don't like this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the bad ones.
Scary.
So I'll go on the record as saying I couldn't fill
No.
any of their.
None of us could.
Not a thimble of their shoe.
Yes.
But
You couldn't carry his empty whiskey glass.
I'm not worthy.
No. Anyway,
Definitely
go ahead.
not. So, I mean, this would be just so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I just love it, though. I think I could actually stand a chance, maybe,
This feels like a purgatory kind of thing.
Oh yeah. This would definitely be that. I might be able to, or at least I'm probably more familiar with more of the Van Halen stuff. But then I got to deal with Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
That's almost a
Hanging all over you, giving you the mic while you're trying to fumble through your. Yeah.
And then
I'm trying to play Unchained. Get off me.
I mean, I can't imagine trying to play any of the Robert Fripp stuff that Steve. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see if Steve can actually pull that stuff off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy because Fripp was just.
Well, he'll be having a laugh in Middle England.
Yeah, probably. Yes, as we've been told.
Yes.
So I think from a practical standpoint, I think my choice is going to be filling in for Joe with the Van Halen thing. Either one's going to be a train wreck. So.
Wow.
This is less of a train wreck.
That's
for me.
Okay. Elad, how about yourself?
I just want to go on record again saying I don't like this game. If I was forced, I think I'd go with Tony on this. I'm not even I don't hold a flame to these guys. I mean, these guys are. I can't answer this question comfortably. I can't do it.
Yeah, that's heavy. Okay.
Well, if Jared were here, he'd want to see which one had the better smorgasbord out back.
That's true.
That could
That's
make
true.
the determining factor.
I'm just gonna wing it and say I'll do the King Crimson tour because I think with all the wrong notes I hit, they'd probably go, "Oh yeah, nasty,
yeah, genius."
Oh man, you're pushing us to new plateaus. Your timing is
so bad,
So bad.
double unsyncopated. That's incredible. He's a legend.
Oh my God.
Yes, so I'm gonna do that because whatever you put on a little stink face and then just nod your head like, oh yeah, then
Take that, Adrian.
You're there, yeah. Or you look back at the drummer and you get on your tiptoes and you go like, here comes the thing, yeah. I guess so. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
The only thing that would be worse would be if it was like actually King Crimson and Frank Zappa. That would be a.
Well, I
we
mean,
shall not go there.
Yeah, I'm thinking the Fripp stuff is right there. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah,
so,
that'd be tricky.
Anyhow, so that was a fun little game.
Yes, for sure. Thank you. I appreciate that. We need to thank a few people, and then we're going to say adieu.
Yes, that's right. Because at this point of the show, Todd, there's a special group of people we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, an executive producer makes this show possible. How do you become one? Head over to patreon.com/guitarknobs. Check out a couple different levels in which you can participate. Become a friend, a hero. What else can they be? A friend.
A supporter.
A supporter.
Yes.
A patron on Patreon of the podcast. Each level comes with some very nice thank you gifts and opportunities to win special prize packages. What are we calling them now? We're not allowed to use giveaways, right? Todd?
What did I say? Rewards? Awards? What is this? Gifts.
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 Gifts. That's
Gifts.
right, because we're going to think about gift paper.
Gifts.
Gift wrapping paper.
Yes.
Gifts. Special gifts. But in addition to all that great stuff, there's one thing more. What would that be?
You get to have
You
your name
get-
read on the thing. Oh,
what?
wait. Elad?
You get your name right on the thing.
There you go.
Right.
There you go. Didn't even need a cue card, Jared.
All righty. What was I supposed to say? So special thanks to these executive producers, John Sebastian, Trevor Ellenberg, Cameron Pampas, James Bell, Michael Furman, Eric Hemmer, Brett Hogarth, Gregory Randall, Don Kloss, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology, Rusty Sneeden, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Richard Kendall, James Pennington, James White, Justin Jones, John Esterle from Rare Buzz Effects, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Darren Gregory, Tom Barazin, and I think there might be one more.
Nope, that's it.
That's all? No! Yep. Elad Mezrahi from Gear Ant. Thank you.
Indeed. Thank you all so very much.
But wait, there's more, Todd, because there's a special group of executive producers. We call them our Grande Poobahs.
Mm-hmm.
These are the creme de la creme, the top of the heap, the number ones, and they wear a fez upon their head whilst listening to the podcast.
Speaking of those, we just did a super duper custom fez for somebody very special.
Oh, yes. I'm looking at it right now.
Yes. All that glitters.
It's purdy.
Okay.
It is gold. So special thanks to these grand poobahs: Adam Johnson, Anthony Gemalero, Billy Spitfire Unlimited, Bob Crouch, Brian Robinson, Cody Foster, David Kaminga, David Tyndall, Enrico Fernando, Fox Hill Studio, Hex Matos, Jack Cadian, James Pennington, John Williams, Jonathan Jerusik from 12th Hour Devices, LSJ Music Company, Matt Hart, our poet emeritus,
Yes.
Michael Van Zant, Michio Murakishi, Moon Guitars, Paul Von Eppinger, Sam Jett, Steve Keys, Tyler Rhines, and Zach Oswald from Brandon Wound Pickups.
Too true. Thank you all. you truly help this continue to roll along. We could not do this without the support of our Patreon members, and we're just so grateful for that.
Amen.
We want to say a great big thank you to Elad Mezrahi of Gear Ant for coming on and telling us all about this latest batch of pedals that he's concocted. Thank you, Elad.
Thanks for having me. Do me a favor.
Yeah.
Don't make me ask next time. You ask me. It's kind of weird.
I was getting around to it. Honest, I'm not even kidding. You just are the paths crossed at the right time, and I was like, "Yep, let's do it." So
Excellent.
but if I do lay out too long, just throw a rock at me.
Poke the bear.
I
Yes.
have no shame.
Now, where can people find everything that you're doing, Elad?
Instagram is pretty much where I do all my stuff. That's gear_ant, A-N-T, or my website, gearant.com. And that's where all the fun stuff happen. I'm also doing a little blog thing on my site where I kind of do a small Q&A with other builders, which is a lot of fun. So check that out as well. You'll learn some stuff about other builders, how they got started, what's their daily life like. Very small questionnaire type of thing.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like it. You can DM me at Instagram. Oh, yeah, Tony. Just kidding.
Todd.
Where can people find the
Why?
things
How
that
could
you're
you
doing?
forget about me?
I
I'm
don't.
sitting right across from you.
I know. You're that easy.
No, not really.
Go ahead.
Just because I'm touring with Van Halen this
Yes.
time. You head over to pickguardian.com. Check out the stuff that I do, which is custom pick guards. If you have something that you're thinking about doing, let me know. I can probably steer you in the right direction, maybe even help you with some pickup selections and different things like that too. I don't sell that stuff, but I've messed around with guitars enough to do that. I want you.
You do a lot of other plasticky stuff there too, like pickup rings and stuff, don't you?
I do that too. Yeah. So I do a little bit of everything, but I just want to help make your guitar yours.
Even more yours.
Even more yours.
Yeah,
Todd, you have to coach me. Can you write that down for me?
I will.
Put it up on the teleprompter.
I'll put it on the other side of the get your name right on the thing.
That'll be perfect.
You can shoot me a DM on Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Would love to hear from you. And as a matter of fact, I was just thinking here, I says to myself, we have been running a little low in the tank on Would You Rathers.
Oh, yes.
So we've got a couple of pedals that we've marked for gifts for the patrons. And I'm going to put out something that's going to basically be, we're going to give away a pedal to the best Would You Rather that we receive.
I like that idea.
Yes. So formally, as of now, when this comes out, that starts. And I'll do like an Instagram thing.
Little blurb.
But this is just for the patrons. This is not for the public at large. Because, that's how we work. We want to support the people that support us.
I like that.
Yes, we'll do that. So start sending in your Would You Rathers, and we're just going to basically, I think say subjectively this one. Is that fair?
You do the highest number of likes.
Yes. We'll figure out a way to reward this. It might just be, you know what? We get a bunch of men, and maybe it's just a rando pick.
The one that rises to the top of the pile.
Okay. We'll figure it out. But the point is, we want the people to support our show to get the rewards.
Yeah.
So we
Gifts.
do have quite a few. Yeah, the gift. We do have quite a few things that we're going to be giving away over the next several. Well, maybe the next couple of months, actually.
Well, you never know.
So, thank you for all that are doing that and being part of the show. Even if you're just out there listening along with us, we thank you.
Yes, we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a lovely time hanging out with you and yours. And hopefully we didn't wake the baby. But have a fantastic Guitar Week and subscribe!
I'm very familiar with lasers.
Yeah.
So
I was going to ask how you cut the bevel on the pick guard.
I have to do all of those. I start with I do those with on a router table.
He uses a Kyrie laser.
There's no way a laser is good at 90 degrees as our
Kyrie laser stands alone on
Goodbye, Todd.
Yeah.
All right. Did you get stuck in a porta potty with no? What happened?
Yes, Sebastian. I've had no time for you today.
Elad Mezrahi.
Well, there you
Bus
go.
full of bears or a pool full of sharks.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had to think about that quite a bit because I'm not a good swimmer and I'm scared of bears.
You just got to outrun the bear. That's it. You don't even have to swim.
Well, but if you don't,
You're on a bus.
If you don't move much, the sharks might not even mess with you.
That's what my son said.
Or just ride one.
I refuse to believe that. All it takes is one bite, and then there's blood in the water, and then
you're done for. Yeah. Yes. Look, you slackers. I'm connected? Question mark. How about that?
The Brothers Johnson.
How about that? Martial. Yes, I've got the chime, but the tightness. Yes. In Brooklyn. Yeah, okay, that's right. Brooklyn.
You got a problem with that?
Hey.
Certainly not.
So I think they did that with the one I just ordered.
Oh,
so
really?
I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, let me know. I'd be.
I don't know
very
if it's
curious.
a full 45 degrees, but I think it's close.
You can make a lot of cool door stops.
Yeah. Such a nerd. Such a nerd.
See what I have to put up with?
I was
eating a sandwich.
No, I wish I was. It's a great place to eat a sandwich if you don't touch anything. Wow. You're a man with manners. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if you know anything about lasers, but one thing we know is don't touch it.
them. I'm gonna do everything.
He's going to make a pedal-shaped car
Yeah, I like that.
with knobs all over it.
Actually, Elon beat him to it. I was in a cab. I think we're going up Park Avenue. You know, it's tight. It's a tight drive. You know, slow moving. Windows are down in the back of the taxi, and the guy to the left of me goes, "Chew!" out the
Into your car?
He just to himself, not into my car. But I mean, it was right there. I heard it, and I looked, and out from the left side of my ear, through my other window, I hear it go, "Bless you." And I was like, "That's amazing. That's fantastic." I was in the middle of exchange of niceties, in the middle of something that people don't necessarily have to be nice.
I kind of fall into that category.
I doubt it. You're an intelligent guy. You can tell that just when you're talking.
Well, yeah, okay, fine, but I'm very impulsive. So,
Impulsive is one thing. Stupid's another.
For all the exhaust.
yeah, of course. Yeah, that I have a spray booth right over here to my right.
Oh, nice.
Where I do all my powder coating and stuff like that.
And you've got a vent out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I chip clip a sock to my nose. And that does the trick.
That explains a lot.
Yeah, but you got a few years on me.
Hey.
I mean, you do. Let's not beat around the bush here.
Elad Mezrahi.
Why do you?
And away we go.
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.